The New Deal. When America hit rock bottom, Americans expected bold leadership. Herbert Hoover was perceived as doing nothing to help when the nation was at its darkest hour. When the votes were tallied in 1932, Americans made a strong statement for change and sent Franklin D. Roosevelt to the White House. Ironically, Roosevelt made few concrete proposals during the campaign, merely promising a new deal for the American people. The plan that ultimately emerged during his presidency was among the most ambitious in the history of the United States. Franklin Roosevelt was born in 1882 to a wealthy New York industrialist, the fifth cousin of Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt. FDR became involved in politics at a young age. A strong supporter of Woodrow Wilson and the League of Nations, Roosevelt became an unsuccessful Democratic candidate for vice president in 1920. The following year, he contracted polio and learned that he would never walk without crutches again. Roosevelt campaigned hard for fellow New Yorker Al Smith's 1924 and 1928 presidential bid, and then received Smith's support to run for governor of New York. In his 2 terms as governor of New York, Roosevelt earned a reputation as a progressive reformer. He then threw his hat into the ring for presidential politics. Roosevelt had no grand strategy to fix the Depression. He was a bold experimenter. FDR liked to examine an idea and evaluate it on its philosophical merits. Merits just means its values, right? The details could be negotiated later. If it worked, fine. If not, he was more than willing to start over with a new plan. He surrounded himself with competent advisors and delegated authority with discretion and confidence. As a master of the radio, his confidence was contagious among the American populace. Aimed at fixing banks and the stock market, he approved plans to aid the unemployment and the nation's farms. He began housing initiatives and ventures into public-owned electric power. The New Deal programs aided industrialists and laborers alike, so the wealthy owners of the companies and the working class. His friends and enemies grew with every act he signed into law. The New Deal sparked a revolution in the American public thought regarding the relationship between the people and the federal government. All right.